Okay, let's talk about the file structure and the folder structure on a Mac and how to do things from the command line or the terminal on a Mac. And the benefit of learning this on a Mac is that you then are pretty familiar with how to do things on a Linux computer if you ever happen to find yourself working on a Linux computer. Because when they made Mac OS, they based a lot of it on the Linux operating system, which is a free and open source operating system. You don't have to pay for it. You can buy a computer, put Linux on it, and never pay anyone except for the computer parts. For Mac, however, you do have to pay them for their operating system. Anyway, the folder structure. So if you open a Finder, Finder is the app on a Mac that lets you navigate the folders and the files on that computer. Every Mac has a hard drive called Macintosh HD. Often you'll see it on the desktop, actually in the top right. So you can go straight to the contents of the hard drive if you double click on that, or you can open a Finder, and usually on the sidebar on the left over here somewhere there'll be a shortcut to Macintosh HD. So this is your hard drive. This is where every file on your computer lives. The folders you see over here might be different, but every copy of Mac OS has some of these that are the same. Applications and library and system and users, everyone will have those. Usually your files that you deal with on a regular basis, if you save them to your computer, they'll be under users, and then whatever your account will show up here, and there's a little house here, that's your home. So home on a Mac is a folder which you can get to by going to Macintosh HD, users, and then your account name right here. So now I'm in the home directory right here. So this is where like the applications that you've installed show up here. Your downloads folder from the internet shows up there, from whatever browser you use. Library, you probably don't deal with stuff in library very often, but the apps that you have installed will store things in this library folder. Movies and music, OneDrive or Dropbox, anything like that will show up here. I'm trying to figure out if documents, is documents under this? No. Where is documents? Oh, well, this is in iCloud. So things changed when Mac started using iCloud for lots of stuff. So if you have files saved to iCloud, you won't see them under that home directory, under users. You can't get to documents that are in the cloud in your home directory. Instead, if you look at it's straight up under iCloud Drive. So you have to go to iCloud Drive, and then most of the things that you save in documents would show up here. If you have your desktop set to be saved in iCloud, any files you have on your desktop will be here under iCloud. You can get to these files from terminal. So on the Windows version of this video, I explained the file structure of a computer because honestly, today, you don't really have to be that familiar with the file structure of computers to grow up and use computers. It used to be that everyone was intimately familiar with how folders and files worked on computers. And as technology and the design of operating systems has gotten better, you need less knowledge about how that all works in order to use the computer, which is a good thing for most people, but when you want to program and deal with the file structure, it means you need to learn those things. So let's look at this from a sort of tree standpoint, where if we think about Macintosh HD as the beginning, any of these other folders, they're all in Macintosh HD. And I could go to users, then I could go to Brian Simpson, and then if there's a folder in here I open, like music or NetBeans, let's go to music. There's another folder, iTunes. So there's this whole tree of folders that I just went through, where at any one step there were lots of options I could pick on. And these folders could have other folders, or they could have files in them. Like this .xml, that's a file. And then I can tell that's a folder because it looks like a folder. When I'm in a Finder window, it's easy to see, oh, that's a file, oh, that's a folder, because I can tell the icon looks different. But in Terminal, so let's open Terminal. The fastest way to open Terminal is to do a spotlight search or Command space and then type the word Terminal and then hit Enter. Here's a terminal. And you'll see that when it opens, it's going to show you the account that you're logged into, and then this little tilde means home, and the home directory is called Brian Simpson, and the money sign is always going to show up, and right after the money sign is a cursor where you can start typing. So that line will always show you what folder you're currently in, and when you open Terminal, you'll always start out in your home directory, which is this, Brian Simpson, which is right under Users, which is under Macintosh HD. So if I want to see what's in this folder, Brian Simpson, there's a command, or it's actually an app that runs on Mac OS. If I type ls for list, it lists all the folders and files. Now if you see something with a period and then an extension, like a file extension, then that tells me that's a file. If I don't see that, then that tells me it's a folder. So Affinia, Android Studio projects, applications, BlueJ projects, all of those are folders because there's no file extension. Update.sh, that's a file because it's got a file extension. Random.dat, that's a file because it's got a file extension. The file extension tells you what kind of data is in that file. You may not be used to seeing all these different file extensions, but a basic one is like a text file. It would be .txt. So let's see if let's make one of those. So here I am, let me go back to the normal view. If I open, I'm in Brian Simpson, the folder. So if I right click in here and go to, or if you don't know how to right click, you hold down Control and click, then it will be, I could go to, well, maybe I have to go here. It's funny, like I know how to do this from the command line, but I don't know how to do it in the folder. Import file. Maybe I have to let me open TextEdit, the app. Okay, so now it shows me, I want to make a new document. Let me make a new document and say, hello, file, save, choose where to, before I do this, let me see, format, make plain text. That's going to be important later because if it's a rich text document, rich text has lots of hidden characters that tell you like indentation and tab spacing and other things that are bad if you're trying to write some Python source code. So in the TextEdit app, there's this nice shortcut that you can switch back and forth between plain text and rich text. I'm going to make it plain text. So now if I go to File, Save, it gives me an option of where to save things. So I'm going to do this under Macintosh HD, Users, Brian Simpson. Let me just save it in this directory, in this folder, without going into any other folders. So save. Oh, I left it as untitled. That's fine. It can be untitled. So if I look, here it is. Here's that file, untitled.txt. If I double click it, it opens. Right? Now if I go to the command line or back to terminal, let me make this bigger. Hold on. If I go back to terminal and hit ls again and look for that file that I just made, here it is, untitled.txt. So ls shows me the files or the folders that are in the current folder where I am. I'm in my home directory because it says so right here. If I want to go into one of these other folders, I could go cd, stands for change directory. This is actually the same abbreviation that you use on Windows, and then you can type the name of another folder. If the next folder you're trying to go to is in your current folder, then you can just type the name of that folder. So like Documents is in this folder. I can just type CD Documents, and now it tells me, instead of the tilde right here, it tells me that now I'm in Documents. That's the current folder that I'm in. If I type ls, here's a list of the files and folders that are in my Documents folder. I can tell that it's a folder if it doesn't have a file extension. So Promethean, if I do cd Promethean, now I'm in the Promethean folder. Now if I forgot how I got where I am, and I like what folders have I gone into, there's a shortcut that you can print working directory, pwd, and if you hit enter, it shows you you're in users / Brian Simpson, or your home / documents / Promethean. So that's where I currently am. If I go do that in a Finder window, then you go to Macintosh HD, users, home directory, documents, and I think I clicked on Promethean, and here's Promethean. So you can get to the same files and folders from the command line that you can in a Finder window. You can navigate your computer's file structure and folder structure, either in a Finder window like this or in a terminal. I'm in Documents. If I want to look at, there's another folder in Documents called Python. Now I'm in Python, and there's only one file in here. It's called hello.py. So let me show you how to make another folder and then another file. If you want to make a folder, you just type mkdir for make directory. I'll call it hello. Now let's see if it worked. Type ls for list. Yep, there it is, hello. And I know it's a folder because it doesn't have a file extension. If I want to move into that, I can type hello. Now I'm in this folder. Now let's say I forgot where I was. pwd gives me the list users, Brian Simpson, or my home directory, documents, Python, hello. Now there's no files or folders in this folder. If I want to make one, the nice thing on the Mac is there's a simple command called touch, and it's very powerful in that you can make any kind of file you want with touch. So if I want a Python source code file, hello_world.py, I just do that. Type ls to see if it created it, and there it is. Now let me go in the Finder. If I hit Python, there's that folder I just created. There's that file I just created. There's nothing in it yet. So if I want to open that file, well, before we do that, if you want to delete that file and you didn't, or you made a typo, or you just want to delete a file, you can type rm for remove, and then type the name of the file. You have to be in the correct folder for it to work. See, there it is, ls. It's not there, and if you look over here behind here, it went away. It's not there either. Make it again. There it is. If you want to rename it, what's that one? I think it's called copy hello_world.py, and then type the new name that you want to have, hello.py. Nope. Okay, so that does copy it. I was thinking about the way that you can rename a file easily is actually called the move command. Copy works. It's just that now the old file is still there and there's a new file there. If you want to rename an individual file and not have the old copy still be there, there's another command called move. Move does a few things. The most simple use of move is to just rename a file. So move hello.py to hello2.py. Changes the name of it. Behind the scenes, it's like moving a file, but we didn't move it to anywhere else. So I've got these two Python source code files. One way to edit them, not the best way, one way is to use this command called open, then -e for edit, and then type the name of the file, hello_world.py. And that will open in the default text editor on your Mac, which is TextEdit if you haven't changed any preferences. You don't really want to do coding in TextEdit. You can, but you have to make sure that it's not rich text. It has to be plain text, and you don't want any word wrapping or anything like that, because that includes extra characters that you don't normally see, which will throw off the Python. So let's see if we can just get it to print hello world. That's the Python code I would type in order to print hello world to the console. If I save that and then go back to the terminal. Now the way that you run a Python script, people call them scripts because back in the day when they made Python, it was used for automating tasks on computers, which is commonly called a script. But it's a program, it's a source code file. So if you want to run this code, you type Python 3. That 3 is important for us because if you don't type Python 3, there's actually another version of Python on every Mac, 2.7.12. We don't want to use that one. Your computer actually uses that. Mac OS uses that version to do things. It's an older version. So by typing Python 3, we're using the correct version that we just installed. And then, so type Python 3, that's the name of the program that we installed. That's the version we installed. And then type the name of the file that you want to run. And it will run it. Hey, hello world. So if I want to go edit that file, if I still have it open, I can just edit it. So let's say I want to make it loop for I in range 100. If I want to make it loop 100 times. See, right now I'm wondering if the tab is gonna, let me click save and try. This might not work. And so a shortcut in terminal is if I hit the up arrow, I can quickly go back to commands I have previously run. Up, 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 down, 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 and then you can cycle through them with up and down. And so if I want to rerun this code, I just hit up and then hit enter. Hey, it worked. Okay. So the tab, there was nothing wrong. People don't program with TextEdit. It does weird things that you don't want it to do. That tab looks weird. There's no nice color coding of this code. So you can make a source code in TextEdit, but people don't do that. Instead, there's these other, you can download what's called an integrated development environment, which is a really big piece of software that has all kind of tools built in, like a debugger, and it can do all kind of things for you. We don't need that really. And so what we're going to do is download a program called Sublime Text Edit. So just search for Sublime Text Editor. It's free, it's open source. This is a very well-known and popular text editor that people use to program. And the cool thing that it does, download for Mac, that'll download a file. I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to do it, but you can just click open, and when it finishes downloading, it will install for you. So get that installed. Installed Sublime. The easiest way to get it is Command space to open Spotlight Search. Type Sublime. It should be the first hit. Here we go. Here's Sublime. It looks very similar to TextEdit, but it can do many more things than just the basic TextEdit can. So, for instance, let's go to... well, first of all, one thing that we want to do right off the bat, once you have Sublime installed, open a Finder so that you can find a file that ends with .py. And if you don't have one, make one, the way that I just showed you. You can either make one on the terminal, so go to the folder where you want to make one, type touch test.py, whatever, but it has to end with py. Now here's that file. you actually need to open the Finder for this. Find that file, right-click, or if you don't know how to right-click, hold down Control and click on it. Then go to Get Info, and then over here on the window that opens, you can change the app that Mac OS uses to open files that end with .py. You can do this for any file, but we've right-clicked on a .py file, and I want to open it with Sublime text. And then if you click Change All, are you sure you want to change all similar documents to open with? Yes, you do. This isn't going to break anything, and you can always go and change it later if you don't want to use Sublime. Click Continue, and now on your... The icon didn't change. Let me open it and see if it... Yeah, okay. It did open it. All right. It still looks like the Python logo, but it opens, when I double click it, it opens in Sublime. I'm in Sublime text. So let me see if that works now from terminal. So the goal here, you can go double click on the file and it will open in Sublime, the text editor that we just downloaded. But what I was trying to do is get us to the point where we could do everything from the terminal. So I'm in the correct folder, hello, hello. That's this folder. I see that there are these .py files. I want to open test.py, hit enter. Okay, now I notice I didn't type the -e that I did earlier to open something in TextEdit. Now I can just type open test.py, and because we set Mac OS to use Sublime text, now we can open Python files just by typing open test.py, and it will open the text editor for us. We can do things from the command line without having to go open a Finder. Print. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it worked. Save. Run Python 3 test.py. Oh my god, it worked. Okay. A couple of other tricks. So you should be, I never showed you how to go back up a level. So we're print working directory, PWD. We're way down in the folders, like we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders deep. If you want to, from the command line, go back up a level, there's a shortcut, CD space period period. Hit enter. Now let's see where we are. Now we're in Python, which was one folder above where we were a while ago. Hello Hello is in this current folder. We went up a level. If we want to go back to documents, that's one level higher than we are. You can do CD period period again, and it goes to documents, where we can do PWD to see that we're now in documents. CD ... Oh, now we're in home. Now let's say you know where you want to go. I know I want to go to this folder, Hello Hello, where I just was, but I don't want to have to go one by one through the folders. If I know what the folders look like, I can just type cd documents / python / hello hello and hit enter, and it brings me all the way there. PWD. So you don't have to go one by one through the folders if you know where you want to go. And at any time, no matter how deep in the folders you are, if you want to go back to your home, you can type cd space tilde. That's that button to the left of the 1 key. Hold down shift and hit it, and it puts up a tilde. Hit enter. That's a shortcut to go home. Print working directory, I'm home. If you want to, let's go back to documents / python / hello. Oh, there's a shortcut on Mac OS that's really nice that people use all the time. I've been avoiding it, but let me show you it. If you start typing the name of a folder, and you're pretty sure there's no other folder that begins with those letters, if you hit the tab key, it will auto-complete it for you. If there's other options, you can keep hitting tab, and if you hit tab again, it will just pop up a list of the folders available to you. So the way that you use this quickly, let me clears the screen. So cd documents tab. I know the next folder is Python, so I'm going to type py, and I'm pretty sure there's no other folders that start with py, so if I hit tab, it'll finish it for me. So it looks through the folders that exist and it picks one that matches what you've typed so far. So if there's not one that matches, like I don't think there's any folders in Python that start with X, if I hit tab, it doesn't do anything because there's no folder that starts with X. But there is a folder that starts with hello, and I know there's no other folders. So if I just type H and hit tab, it will finish it for me. Here we go, ls. Okay, so you know how to create files with the touch command. You know how to move around in the file structure on the command line using cd. And to go back up a level, you do cd ... To go home, you do cd tilde. ls can show you the files that currently exist. If you want to delete a file, you can do rm and then the name of the file. If you want to rename a file, you do mv, name of current file. So let me make one, touch blah blah .txt. Now if I hit ls and look for that file, there it is, blah blah .txt. That is in my home directory now. And actually, if I go look at my home directory users, there it is, blah blah .txt. So if I want to rename that file, the fastest way to do that is type mv blah blah.txt and then type a new name.txt. It takes the contents of that and it puts them in here. Now, I mean, I know that file's empty, but if it had stuff in it, it would move the contents to this file, which effectively renames it. Blah blah, there it is, new name.txt. If I want to move that file actually move it to a different folder, I can do mv new name.txt, and then I need to type the location of where I want to move it. So I'm in, let's say I want to move it to, documents is a folder that's in my current folder, so I can just type documents and then hit enter. And if I go look in the documents folder, there it is, new name.txt. You don't have to, it doesn't have to, you can move it a few folders away too if you want. So cd documents, enter ls, new name.txt, there it is. If I want to take it and move it to, let's say, I know Python is in this folder, and then I know hello is in that folder. I used the tab shortcut there, by the way. And then hit enter, it will do that. Let's go find it. It's in Python, hello, there it is, new name.txt. How do I edit it if I want to do that? Let's go to that folder. Python, hello tab, enter ls, open, new. It works here if you're typing the name of a file, you can also hit tab and it will finish the name of the file if there's no other files. That, like, actually all I needed to type was an N, and if I hit tab, it finishes it. If you don't type anything, like I've typed no letters, and I'm going to hit tab, it actually shows me a list of things that I can choose from. Hit N, hit tab, hit enter, and it will open it in, oh well, this opened in text edit because the default app on Mac OS to open a .txt file is TextEdit, so it did that correctly. Let's make it a Python source code file. Now it ends with .py, so if I hit open new name.py, it should open in Sublime. Yeah, here we go. Now we're in Sublime. I don't think I mentioned it a while ago, but when you name your files .py and you open it in Sublime, it will automatically color code things according to how they should be color coded. In Python. If we had named it .c, it would color code things how we should name it in C. That's one of the things people like about Sublime, is that it works with almost any programming language, and it figures out how it should color code things based on the file extension of the file that you have opened. We don't need any of the other functionalities yet for what's going on, but Sublime can do a lot of things for you that a normal text editor can't. For now, this is good. How do I run that file? Make sure it's saved. Save. Go back to terminal. Type Python 3, and then the tab key still works there too. If I type an N tab, it finishes it for me. I can hit enter. Color is nice. It runs it a whole bunch. Those are all the tricks you need from this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.